Hi guys, welcome back to Hit Wicket. I'm Naji,
And I'm Naba.
and today we're just going to go through an overview of the England versus Australia ODI series, and yeah, just some general comments. What we think. A few important topics on like what bowling attacks Australia and England might go for, and also like batting lineups. But yeah, I guess we probably want to start off a little bit by talking about Australia and their middle order. And yeah, I think like obviously the T20 series exposed a little bit in the sense of that the middle order was a bit fragile for sure. They probably have a few batsmen like probably out of position. That's potentially throwing off that middle order a little bit. I'm not like what do you reckon? Do you think the Australian middle order should stay the way? Like, do you think they'll go? Oh, I guess firstly I should ask, like, what middle order do you think Australia will go for?
Well, I think in the ODIs it's a little more solid, I guess, than the 2020s, because 2020s they're just rotating around everyone really. Smith went from 3 to 5, Stoinis went from 4 to he went from 6 to like 4, 3. Maxwell.
So who do you think? Who do you think should bat a 3 for Australia?
In the
ODIs,
ODIs,
I think Stephen Smith.
yeah, in the ODIs, I mean Smith and Labuschagne will be 3 and 4.
Yeah,
That's pretty much just certain, I think.
yeah,
They'll be 3 and 4, just try and naddle it around. Then 5, 6, 7's interesting. I mean, he's already been given the go for the first ODI. He's already guaranteed in the side, so he'll probably be batting 7. So 5 and 6 will be interesting. Could be. I think they'll probably go with Maxwell and Stoinis, although I don't know if that's if that's the right way to go. But I think they will go with that to start off with.
It's a difficult one. Yeah, I mean, I think they probably need to go.
Or they could even go 5, 1 of Maxwell Stoinis, 6 Carey, and then Agar at 7. Or Mitch Marsh at 7.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Like, I guess it depends what bowling lineup they want to go from. What's their like fifth bowling option? But I think they'll probably play Maxwell regardless. Stoinis, yeah, it's a bit of a tough one because Maxwell probably is more than a specialist bat. Like, he'll probably bowl like maybe like 2-3 overs.
Yeah.
It's tough. Or we never know. They might just drop. They could like maybe not go Maxwell and go Stoinis, and maybe Mitch Marsh and then Agar.
Maybe, yeah.
That's also an option too.
But I don't think they'll pick Stoinis and Mitch Marsh because they're both similar sort of bowlers. And
yeah,
I think Mitch Marsh is a better batsman at the death.
Yeah, exactly. I think like Stoinis needs to, if he's gonna play, he needs to probably play like in early because he needs like pace on the ball and like a bit of time to get in. He's probably not like at the death sort of batsman, which I agree. But yeah, it's interesting because I mean I think that they should probably go Maxwell, Mitch Marsh because he's better at that lower end position than Stoinis, and then have Ashton Agar and Carey and the bowlers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. I'll probably go with that.
I mean, if I was selecting that, like based on what's happened so far, I'll probably go with that. But yeah, it's a tough one. Like that middle order. Yeah, I guess that like lower middle order. There's a couple of positions up for grabs by the looks of it. I think the bowling lineup's gonna be pretty straightforward for Australia.
Yeah.
Probably,
it has to be Stark, Cummins, Zampa, and Hazelwood probably.
Yeah.
They might go Ken Richardson, but I think Hazelwood should really be playing instead of or over Ken Richardson.
Yeah.
Even in the 2020 circuit, I think Hazelwood should be given more of a chance. He hasn't really been given much.
Yeah, he hasn't been. Yeah.
He's I guess untried as well, but he's a good bowler for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess moving on to England now. Do we know if Roy's available or is he still out? I haven't really seen much on that front.
I mean, I haven't seen too much. But if he's playing, he's going to be. I mean, if he's fit, he's going to be playing 100%.
Yes, yeah.
So if he's not, I think it's like a easy, really like for like Tom Banton will probably just open, with obviously Bairstow will be opening, 3 Root, Walk-in, 4 Morgan, 5. Actually, 5 will be interesting. They could go They could go Billings maybe a 5 to replace, obviously Stokes is still not going to be playing. That'd be interesting. Could be Billings, or they could, if Roy's playing, they could go Banton at 5. They could do that too.
Yeah.
I don't think Milan's not in the ODI squad, pretty sure. And then 6, 7 will be Ali and Butler. That's a given as well. England have a pretty settled lineup, of course, especially their batting order. And 8, 9, 10, 11, Archer, Wood will be 2 of them for sure. Rashid, 3, given. And maybe the last spot could be between Jordan and Tom Curran, probably. Or Saqib Mahmood even, possibly. Any of those 3.
I mean, I think yeah.
At least 9 or 10 of their positions are pretty. They've got a pretty solid side. I mean, it's fair to say they have a very solid team, England.
Yeah.
Most positions are certain. Already going into this game. They definitely has less question marks on their side compared to Australia's.
Yeah, Australia's still trying to figure out that. I think that Australia's 1 to 4 is gonna be a given.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna be then the 1 to 4 going for the coming couple of years.
Yeah.
But then their 5, 6, 7, 8 is a bit not 100%. I mean, which order is the best? Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, I think, for Australia, but considering England have a pretty settled lineup, they probably have the upper hand, I think. But yeah, Australia does have a good bowling lineup as well. But yeah, I mean, Joff Archer's been bowling pretty well. I mean, Markle's been bowling pretty well.
Adil Rashid's been bowling very well.
Yeah, he's been bowling really good.
Australia's look all over the shop against him.
Yeah. I mean, I think from what I've seen, Australia look to just kind of survive him, which is he's really taking that opportunity and just having them back in their crease and having the big spinning leg break or even just his rung and it's becoming difficult. They need to probably play maybe a little bit more attackingly.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line, We see how England players play the Australian spinners. They look to attack them a lot more.
Yeah.
While Australia looking to just nod or Rashid. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play him in the ODIs. If they look to go after him more. But he's a very important bowler in that white ball lineup for England, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He really does complement their seamers pretty well. And it's going to be pretty, well, it'll be good to see Archer and Wood, go in the ODI. In the ODI tour. They've been bowling pretty quick, pretty good opening spells. And yeah, it'd be good to see, the 10 overs versus, bowling 4 overs. But yeah. It brings about different challenges, ODI cricket and T20 cricket. There's a lot more overs, obviously. There's obviously the opening section where you have the power play, the middle section where they tend to sort of try to really build a good platform, and then the back 20 overs is a big explosion, or 20, 15 overs. So it is a different game in a lot of aspects to 2020.
Or if you're England, it's just smash.
Yeah.
All 50 overs.
Yeah. I mean, especially when Stokes returns to that lineup, it looks like a very solid middle order, and they already have a decent top order already with especially Root there. I think Root's number 1 format probably is one day cricket. I think. He's a pretty good performer one day cricket, and he's really, since he started to now, he's really changed his game and adapted a lot to ODI cricket. And obviously having Morgan there at 4 is going to be pretty important for England. But I think, given what's happened in the world, how Australia went about attacking England in the World Cup, they're probably going to try to bounce out Aaron Morgan. I would say. And I think Aaron Finch will continue to use Stark in 2-3 over bursts. It'd be interesting to see how Aaron Morgan uses Wood and Archer, if he's going to use them for longer, 4 or 5 over spells, or he's going to use them as well as. I don't know, what do you reckon?
I think Archer may be longer spells, but Wood will be 2-3 over spells. Definitely, that's what I would do.
I mean, they're both pretty quick, but it's pretty important to just manage that. They've both bowled pretty well so far in the T20 series. So Yeah, I mean, any final thoughts, any gutsy calls for this opening match that we have coming up?
Opening match. I'll say.
Or who do you want to see, or who are you going to be keeping your eye on?
I mean, obviously, Marnus Labuschagne. I hope he gets 100.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and England side, I guess. If Roy plays, I want to see. Hopefully, he does well. If he's playing, I think if he's playing, I think England will win. To be honest, yeah. I think he is really that deciding factor between whether England and Australia. Who he'll be that big, like, factor on who wins and who loses.
Yeah. I really would have liked to see David Milan playing in the ODI tour, but it's tough. There's no room for him really, unless they ditch Banton, which they're not, because he's the young up and coming talent. Which would be interesting. But I'm going to be definitely, from the batting perspective, definitely I'm going to be keeping close to Marnus Labuschagne. I think he's been batting really well recently, or for the last, I guess, year or 14 months of cricket. I guess there hasn't been much cricket anyway, but maybe last 2 years I could even go back.
2 years.
That he's been batting pretty well, and I think this tour is a really good opportunity for him to really solid down that number 4 position. And he's already had a not bad start to his career in ODI cricket, and if he solidifies, it'll be like a long-term number 4 for Australia for quite some time. Which will be pretty important. So I'm definitely watching out for him. Who else? I guess, in terms of bowlers, I think, I'm definitely gonna be watching like Stark, and I hope that they do play Hazelwood more, because I think he's a bit underrated in ODI cricket. That line and length bowling is, it's a bit underrated in ODI cricket. Some people get a bit, some people do get a lot carried away with the variations and whatnot, but I think line and length bowling is as important as well. You need like that sort of, if they have like, Stark, who's like a bit more X factor, then you have Hazelwood that gives you a bit more control, and Cummings also give you some control. It looks like a pretty good 3-seam. Like those 3 seams look pretty good. And then obviously you have probably Zampa and Agar to back that up, and I don't know, probably Mitch Marsh or Stoinis will be bowling some of the overs as well. So it brings about like a nice rounded attack with good variation.
Maybe Aaron Finch, a couple of random arms.
Maybe a couple balls get injured. So I think from the Australian side we're looking at that. From the English side, I think Butler's been playing pretty well. Not sure how much we'll see of him, because he's batting at 7 or 6, 7. That's pretty.
Well, if you're Australian, you'll hope you're seeing a lot of him, but or hope you'll be seeing him early.
I mean, I think he's been playing pretty good white ball cricket right now. He looks like he's batting full of confidence, so I think he's gonna have. I'm definitely keeping my eye on him. That's for sure.
It really started from the red ball. He started scoring runs there. Now he's scoring runs here. He could end up having a pretty good summer if he has a good tour here too.
Yeah, that's right. I think him, and I think I'm also going to be having a look at Root. I think hasn't had a great summer so far, but I think this is his opportunity to really capitalize. And at the end of the day, ODI it is probably his best format. And nothing is any better than him trying to score like a good knocks against Australia, because of late he has sort of not been able to do much damage against Australia. If you're talking about the Ashes, he hasn't been able to make too much impacts against Australia, unless it was like many years ago now. Back in England when he scored those couple of hundreds. I think I'm gonna have a look at him and see how he goes. But I think he's gonna be pretty important, especially for England, to have that solid number 3, because you don't want Aaron Morgan in probably too early. So I think we're looking at those couple of players anyway. Final predictions, what do you reckon? Who do you think is going to get up this first game?
I think whether Roy's playing or not, as I said, I think if Roy's playing, then England will win. If Roy's not playing, then I think Australia should hopefully get over the line.
I think for this game I'm going to be a little bit different tonight, but I think England have probably got it in the bag for this game, mainly because I think the whole lineup is very settled and there's not going to be too much changes there. Although obviously I want Australia to win, but I think for this starting game anyhow, I think England are on top already, just because they have a very settled lineup and everything like that. Australia have a lot more question marks. If Australia do put on a good total,
Yeah.
then yeah, we'll have to see. But I think England is a bit more subtle right now in terms of their middle order, and because of that, I think they're going to be more dangerous than Australia. But that could change after this game, so we'll just have to keep an eye on and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably done. I don't have anything else to say. Do you have any last comments?
No, I think lastly, just keep in touch for we might be doing a bite-sized view on what we think are the question marks surrounding Australia's middle order with that Stoinis Maxwell. Is it a conundrum for Australia, or is it a blessing in disguise? We might have a chat about that later, so keep in touch for that. And yeah, I guess obviously we have an Instagram page, Facebook page, all the links are down below, merch, everything. So until next time, we'll see you then.
See you guys later.
It's all about humanity.